Hey everybody, I'm Jennifer with Community Nights, and we are here to serve the community. Today I have Katie Morgan from Youth Volunteer Corp Hampton Roads, and we're going to talk about what they do and how the COVID-19 crisis has impacted their organization. Hey Katie!
Hey, thank you for having me.
Oh, we're so happy to have you with us today. So first I want you to just tell me a little bit about Youth Volunteer Corp Hampton Roads and who you serve and what you guys do, because there's some people out who might not know about your organization.
Yeah, so we are a youth development organization, and our target audience includes 11 to 18-year-old youth. So we really believe in youth development through service. So the vehicle that we use to develop youth are meaningful service projects. And so that is what we program throughout the year in a variety of ways. And we have 5 strategic focus areas. So we spend our time making sure that we provide a robust calendar of service opportunities, and that those opportunities provide the 21st century skill learning opportunities, career readiness learning opportunities, and really trying to get them to think outside of themselves and develop them as servant leaders. So that is our mission, and we do that through episodic programming where they can sign up kind of a la carte for different projects that may suit their schedules. We have summer programming, which is more intensive 4-day camps. We have school clubs. We have weekly projects. So the beauty of it is that we get students from all over Hampton Roads, even the South Side, primarily Peninsula. We have private school, homeschool, public school students all working together, and just bringing out the best in themselves by them filling these important needs in our local community.
You guys do such amazing work.
Thank you.
All of us have been so deeply impacted by the COVID-19 crisis, and we kind of wanted to look at how has that crisis impacted the people that you guys serve directly.
Yeah. So our middle and high school students obviously are not in school right now, which means that our school clubs are not able to meet in person, and we cannot hold in-person projects. And our projects are usually in direct service to specific populations in the community. So our last project that we had in person, for example, in March, was at the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank. And prior to that, we had done a project with the Special Olympians, and we had done a respite program with Autism Society of Tidewater. And so those were in-person opportunities for our youth volunteers. And with them being out of school and therefore away from their clubs, and with them being home and us being home, we have switched to virtual programming. And I will say we really tried to pivot quickly because we didn't want to have our youth sitting at home feeling like it was one more thing that they couldn't do. So we provide 2 to 3 virtual projects each week, and they have been very well attended. So we do signups online just like we used to in the past, but we interact via Zoom, and so we get into groups, and so it's group-based. We do our icebreakers, we do our service learning. We've been able to get the guest speakers from different populations that we're serving, so we have that level of expertise and perspective that we're trying to bring into the projects. And then we challenge the youth to do some project that is associated with that service learning. And so, for example, we have these dog toys, and these have been really popular. So we've been hosting service projects to benefit the SPCA. They've been learning how to make dog toys out of recycled t-shirts, so things that they can find around their home. We've also been challenging them through our service learning lesson on literacy to record read alouds for children. But the cool thing about it is that we also had a copyright attorney join our service learning session to teach them really about like what is and isn't okay about taking someone else's work and recording it and posting it online. So there's all kinds of learning opportunities there. And now we're creating an educational YouTube channel so that children can hear our youth volunteers read some of their favorite books, or maybe some storybooks that they've never heard before. So we're really, trying to keep our youth engaged. But from what we hear when we do these projects, a lot of them are just really missing their friends. They miss, being at school, which is, you often don't hear students saying that they miss school, but I think they're realizing, hey, there's something to be said for seeing my teachers, being with the people in my classrooms, and, just having that routine. So we're trying to provide as much as we can of that to kind of fill the gaps.
That sounds wonderful. So how has the crisis impacted your organization directly?
Well, the first hurdle that we hit was the closing of Christopher Newport University, because 9 of our staff members are students who attend Christopher Newport University, and they're part of the Bonner Service Scholars Program. So they actually work with us as team leaders, and they're committed to our organization 10 hours a week during the academic calendar. And when they were sent home, that was a ginormous part of our staff. So,
Oh my goodness.
Just trying to make sure that we were able to continue to engage them as team leaders, even though they're at home and they're working remotely. And then just having to pivot and figure out how can we still engage youth volunteers in a meaningful way from home. And so, just being able to kind of brainstorm around some of the partners that we have and some of the projects that people can do from home without having to have contact with others or having to go buy materials or, we didn't want there to be a cost burden. We didn't want there to be any type of transportation burden in terms of going out and getting things or any type of safety issues. So in terms of programming, it's really just been thinking on our feet and trying to be creative and flexible. But the impact especially has been that this is our big season for events, special events. And primarily can structure is, kind of our bread and butter. And it's the event that we look forward to all year. And it's the one where we engage the most youth. So we typically have hundreds of youth from, this year, actually, we had planned on having 22 teams involved, and all of those teams represent a school. So elementary, middle, and high school from 5 different school divisions were all scheduled to compete in our largest ever can structure competition, and that is a STEM event, but it's also a community service event. So while the teams are collecting canned food goods, they're designing a structure that they can build with those donations at the event. So they spend weeks and weeks, and we have a toolkit where they're learning about, the issue of hunger in our community, and they're understanding how food banks work, and they're learning the ideas of food deserts and food insecurity. So there's the service learning piece, but then there's the creative, STEM, engineering, science, math part of it, where they're learning, they're deciding how they want to build something that's structurally sound, and it has to align with our theme. So there's a really cool aspect to it, and it takes place over several weeks. So typically that event happens the last week of April, and of course we had to cancel this year's big event. We actually have a contingency plan that's going to happen in the fall. But the beautiful thing about that event not happening is that those schools had been preparing, for can structure for several weeks. So we were actually able to coordinate with the administration teams for those schools, go over with the food bank truck and pick up over 5,000 pounds of food that would not have been made available otherwise. And typically our can structure event produces, in the past couple of years, we've really pushed the mark. So last year's event raised over 31,000 pounds. So if we had been able to go the full length, I'm sure we would have had a lot bigger contribution, but we're just happy that even those 5,000 pounds are going to get out into the, homes of people in need right now. And I know there are many. Mm-hmm. So, it's just realizing that our events, unfortunately can't happen. And then just trying to make sure that we can still host those events and come up with something that, is not going to necessarily replace it, but that can supplement in the meantime.
Most definitely. So we have a lot of people who are at home right now who've been furloughed or who are working from home, but finding themselves with a little bit of extra time on their hands, and they're looking for positive things to do from home. Is there anything that they can do to support those that you serve, or to support YVC from home?
Absolutely. So the first thing that comes to mind is we actually have an online food drive that we're hosting right now, and it is directly benefiting the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank, and that is hopefully to help close the gap between what we were able to donate this year through the collections that were started at the schools, and then what we would have had should the schools have remained open. So we have an online food drive, and the great thing about that is it's through a website called You Give Goods, and you actually go on, you give a stated amount, or you actually pick out groceries that you want to be shipped directly to the food bank. So there's no having to go to a grocery store, go to the table where someone's set up, and there's zero contact, and it is directly benefiting the food bank. And so that's something, that would help us help them for sure. And then, it's just kind of letting youth know that they they can still be engaged. They can come to our website, they can look at our project calendar. We have opportunities for them to still get to meet other youth volunteers, even though it is virtually and we're kind of talking to each other in these little screen windows. It does give you a sense of connection, and I think just letting them know that they can still make an impact from home is just reassuring in a lot of ways. And we are looking at continuing our summer program should everything hopefully be lifted in time. And it's just a matter of finding out how we can go about in a careful way having our summer program, but we've got all kinds of contingency plans in place for that. So, but we are very reliant on our programming and our events for funding that sustains us. And so I think, with Give Local 757 coming up on May 12th, that is something that would greatly support us in that way.
Okay. Well, how can people get in contact with you if they want to reach out and help? If, making sure that our youth are engaged in service projects, becoming servant leaders is something that they're really passionate about. What is something, a way that they can get in touch with you to get more information?
Great. Yes, they can visit our website, which is www.yvchr.org. That stands for Youth Volunteer Corps Hampton Roads. Also, an email address that would be really, direct to us is info@yvchr.org. We also look at our Facebook Messenger messages. So our Facebook address is YVC Hampton Roads, if you do a search that way. I would just caution anybody who does a Google search that there are other YVC affiliates, so you want to make sure that you're always in the Hampton Roads location.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. Do you have anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Just how much we appreciate community nights. I will say that we have a gift grant to launch our new app, and that app is going to help us to really push out more curriculum and resources and opportunities to our youth volunteers. And we just wrapped up a kickoff session with our app development team, and so we're hoping to get that out onto the App Store, within the next month or so. So, we love the partnership, the collaboration, and we just really appreciate everything that you all do.
Well, we appreciate you saying that because that's one of our core missions, is getting everybody collaborating together and supporting you guys, especially now. But the work you do is incredible. So thank you for all that you do, and thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to chat today.
Oh, thank you. You too.
All right. Have a great one.
All right. Thanks.